Okay, what is up? So I'm going to take you through my NFL 2021 top 50 players in the NFL draft. So, yep. Number one, it won't be a surprise. Well, sneak peek. Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, best player in this draft. One of the best prospects to come out of college in such a long time. He was like the number one player in college football every single year at Clemson. Even in high school, he was so highly recruited, number one quarterback. He's just been the typical quarterback ever since he was a quarterback, basically. And everybody's just been waiting for him to come out because everybody knows he's going to be the number one overall pick, and he's the best player in the draft. So yeah, and number two, I've got Kyle Pitts. I think because top 50 players is not based on positional value, it's just the players. And I think Kyle Pitts is easily the second best player in this draft. He's such a weapon. He catches every single ball. Like, he doesn't drop anything. He's got such a big catch radius. He can catch jump balls. And he's got speed to run past linebackers, so he's a mismatch against that. And he also has the size against corners. So he's just such a big mismatch. Like, you can't put anybody on him to really mark him because he'll just destroy everybody. And number three, Zach Wilson. Yeah, I think he's the second best quarterback in the draft. And he's a very good quarterback, to be honest. He probably would be the best quarterback in most drafts. His, like, the way he can just, like, process his reads and go from, like, oh, the first read, that's not open. Oh, let me go to second and third, blah, blah, blah. And he's just so good at that. And that's probably why I have him here, because that's something you really want to see. You don't really care about anything else. You kind of sort of see his traits. And Zach Wilson, he probably has that type of skill set. Four, another very good player for a very long time, Panay Sewell. Yeah, he's just a really generational type of talent at the tackle position because of his this like freakish speed for his size and just everything about him, his power. He's just such a well-rounded player. There is some stuff you can teach up, definitely, but every player coming out of college needs a bit of teaching. They're not just gonna be able to go in straight away. But Panay Sewell, best tackle in the draft, definitely. And number five, I got Jamar Chase. I think he's the number one receiver in this class. Very good receiver coming out of LSU. Amazing route runner. Just destroys anybody that lines up against him. And I think he'll be a beast in the NFL. So number five, I think, is a good spot for him. Number six, Justin Fields. Yeah, third best quarterback in the draft. Very good quarterback, to be honest. He's also another player that has just been good for a very long time. But I just think Zach Wilson, I have him behind him because I just think Zach Wilson's just a better player overall. We'll get bringing more. But doesn't mean I don't like Justin Fields. He is a very, very good quarterback. And again, would be like the best player in like any other draft, to be honest. Just he has like good speed and everything. Just projects as a really good player. Oh, I got hiccups. Patrick Surtain, number seven. Yeah, he's such a good cornerback, man. And I think him just being able to play against all these amazing talent in the SEC, and he played like 3 years, I think, at Alabama against the best talent, never really got exposed. Of course, there are going to be plays that you get yourself on. No cornerback's going to be able to get every play right because it's one of the hardest positions in the league, but he's just a really good cornerback, has very good size, very good boundary cornerback, and he's just locked down there. So yeah, he's an amazing cornerback. So yeah, number eight, I have another Alabama player, Jaylen Waddle. My second best quarterback, wide receiver in this draft. He has amazing speed and route running to complement his game, and he can be a very good slot and outside player. He can kind of play both. And yeah, he's just very unique. Like, he is quite small, but he's got that speed. He can just run straight past you, be a really good deep threat for most teams. And his route running is just top notch. And of course, played at Alabama, so they always got amazing players there. So it's hard to get production. But then when he does get in, He's a beast. At number 9, Micah Parsons. Yeah, he's just a really good athlete. He's not the best coverage linebacker in the draft by sure, but he can be he's like the best pass rusher out of all the linebackers and blitzer and probably the best run defender. He would just be a beast in that sort of field, but coverage, yeah, is not amazing, but everything else is very encouraging to see. And he's just a game changer and can be outside linebacker, middle linebacker, will. He can play everywhere. So I like it. And then number 10, JC Horn. Yeah, I think he's the second best cornerback. I got him just behind Patrick Surtain because I think they're really close. I think it's like 1A, 1B pretty much. But I think it's more. JC Horn played some really good receivers also. But he has been exposed at some points. And there's some schemes that he won't fit. But overall, he's a very good cornerback from South Carolina. And again, another really big lockdown cornerback who has the size to fit cornerback very well. So I like him. And number 11, Trey Lands. Yeah, he's probably the most boomer bust player in this draft, probably, because he played at North Dakota State, which isn't the best competition, but he was so good there and kind of just blew away everybody's expectations. But I guess the sample size isn't amazing, but he's got a killer arm. He can throw it so deep, but you cannot start him straight away because he's really raw, and his accuracy isn't amazing, but it is still good. So number 12, let me take a little drink first though. Kwity Paye, the edge from Michigan. Yeah, he's got amazing physical ability and is just a really good athlete. And he's amazing in the run game also. Like, he can stop the run. If the run's coming to his side, he will blow it up. Pass rush isn't as good, but he is a very good pass rusher also. Run defense probably better, but he's very explosive on the line, has good power and speed. So, yeah, he's just really good for the position. I've got him as my number 1 edge, and he could be a really good starter in the league, I think. I don't think he'll... The edge class isn't amazing. I don't know if he'll ever be an elite edge defender, but he will. I can probably ensure that he's going to be a good edge defender. And then number 13, I got Rashawn Slater. He can play guard, but I mean, you probably want him to play tackle because that is his position. Yeah, because the arm length isn't as amazing. That's why people are saying he could go into guard. But he's a very good player, and he locked down Chase Young. That's kind of what everybody kind of got onto him. He opted out last year, but he's an amazing athlete also. Seems like everybody can be. So he can play all over the O-line, very versatile. I think he can fix your offensive line a lot, and that's kind of why I got him, because I think he comes into your team, he'll have a big impact. And then number 14, Devonta Smith. Yeah, he does have those size kind of concerns that people talk about, but I don't think it's going to be a problem because he's such a good route runner. He wins with his feet off the line, and he could put on some weight, but I don't think he really needs to. He's 175, which isn't amazing, but he's just a really amazing player, so I like him. His route running is so good. And this doesn't say number 15, I accidentally forgot for some reason, but it's Tevin Jenkins, the offensive tackle from Oklahoma State. I really like Tevin Jenkins. He will fit probably any scheme, probably more of a power inside zone type of scheme, like down the middle, because he's just a mauler. He's 6'6", 315 pounds, I got up here. But, yeah, he'll, like, be an amazing run blocker, definitely, with his size. Pass rushing, he is very good there also, not as good. He can get sometimes beat by more speed rushers, but he does have good speed also. And I guess he could play guard, but so could every single tackle. But I think he'll just be a really good tackle, could really fix your need on the O-line, which is just such a valuable position. That's why I got so many up here, and it's a very good tackle class. And number 16, I got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, linebacker / corner / slot corner, class safety / box safety. That's probably why I got him pretty high up. People might have him higher. A lot of people probably have him lower. But he can be a really big impact. He's also tall. He's not that heavy, 216. But yeah, just his versatility really helps out. If you get him with a good defensive coordinator, you can use him in so many different ways to really help. And he was just a really good player at Notre Dame who can just play all over the field. And that's very encouraging. So I really like Jeremiah Wusa. So number 17, I got Jalen Phillips, the edge from Miami. He has a big red flag with the concussions that he's had. He's had a lot of concussions. He medically retired from football from UCLA, was kind of forced to, didn't want to, but then he did come back to Miami and was this such a good pass rusher, man. He's got such good technique in like his arms and his hands, the way he can just like get around the defender and get to the quarterback. But when he has gone against better offense tackles, they have kind of got him at points. But I think he definitely has a lot of potential, just if those injuries don't turn into anything. And then another injury player at 18, Caleb Farley. But damn, he was such a good lockdown cornerback at Virginia Tech. He's got that back injury because he had surgery on his back for some problem he had, but he says he's fine and everything. You never know. Like, he might not be, and one hit could just ruin his career, or he could be fine. And if he is fine, I think he could definitely be the best cornerback in this draft. But the injury concerns are definitely concerning. He's only got 1 year of really elite production at the cornerback position, but it was so elite that I think you have to put him up at 18 because, no, 19. No, it is 18 because he was so good there. 19, Christian Darrisaw, another Virginia Tech player. Tackle, yeah. People probably have Tevin Jenkins behind him. Some people, like me, will have Tevin Jenkins in front. Again, he's another really good run blocker because he has amazing size. And yeah, he's got amazing size also, length, and he just checks all the boxes pretty much to be a good starting left tackle. So I really like Christian Darrisaw. And that might have a bit of a surprising pick. People probably don't have this player that high up. I've got Asante Samuel Jr., the cornerback from Florida State. Man, I like Asante Samuel Jr. My fourth cornerback in this draft. I have him above Greg Newsome, who'll be later. But Asante Samuel, he can play in the slot and on the outside. People kind of just, because of his size, he's 5'10", 184. But, so people just think he can play in the slot. But I think he could definitely play on the outside. That's what he did play at Florida State. And just is such a good player at cornerback. He's, of course, the son of Pro Bowler cornerback Asante Samuel. So he has that family blood. And yeah, he could be a really good starter in this draft. I would love him going to my Saints. I would love that pick because we need cornerback. And he's just such a good player. And yeah, that's kind of it. So 21, I got Elijah Vera Tucker, guard / tackle. He played tackle last season, but he's a better guard than tackle, to be honest. And I think that's probably what he'll play in the league. But he can definitely play tackle, which is good because he has that versatility to play both positions, which you do like. So if injuries or you just think he's better at that position, you've already got a need. But you don't really pick guards very high up. People probably have him lower, like 14 or something I've seen. But I think because he's a guard, he's an amazing guard. He's probably the best guard in this draft by far. So Elijah Vera does a really good interior offensive line. Man, just a good all-around player. And then I got the best center in this draft personally, Landon Dickerson. He did tear his ACL like twice or something, but tearing your ACL is such a common injury in the NFL. It seems like every single freaking player tears their ACL. But he's a really good player, so I love Landon Dickerson. Best center in the draft. I really like Landon Dickerson. He's a massive human also, but also really athletic. So, yeah, he could be a guard also, but he's a really good center, so I'd have that. So now I've got the best safety in the draft, Trayvon Moore from TCU. He's a really good safety. He also has versatility. He played in the box. I could play in the slot. But I think he'll be a really good free safety overall. which isn't that valuable position because it kind of sit back. But he can be a really good ball hawker, and him. I can't forget the other safety. Darius Washington were just a really good safety duo, but he was definitely the better player there. And he can also stop the run also, which is very good for a safety. He can run up and stop the ball. And he's also very aggressive, good tackler also. So it's very good and can good man coverage corner also. So I like it. And then 24, I got Cadarius Toney, the receiver from Florida. I really like Cadarius Toney, man. He's such a good deep threat. Also has pretty decent size. I think he's 6 foot. Yeah, but he's a track athlete also. So he's just a really good route runner. Very good after the catch with the ball in his hands. And I think that's what could really be good in. And he can play on the outside and in the slot also. Just super electric player. Such a fun player to watch. His shiftiness is so good. Just so elusive, man. He'll break your ankle so easily. And I love him. That sounds pretty sus. 25, Greg Newsome. Really good cornerback from Northwestern. Yeah, I just think that he didn't face a lot of good receivers at Northwestern, and kind of only really had that one season of good production at Northwestern. He was alright the other times before, but one breakout year against not amazing corners. I still think he is a really good corner. Shows all the traits to be a really good player in the league and has all the potential, but I mean, I've got him as a fifth cornerback. That's very good. 26, Najee Harris. First running back in the draft, actually, from Alabama. He's so good at, like, seeing the holes. I mean, Alabama, they're going to have the widest holes in the world with their O-line. But he can see where to cut with the ball. And has a good mix of power and speed. Can break off big runs. And I just think he's a really good running back, so I have him at 26. 27, Elijah Moore. I like Elijah Moore. I think he's a good receiver. He's a very electric player to watch. I think he'll be a really good slot cornerback for a lot of teams. He could probably work in so many teams. He's just a really good athlete and amazing route runner. So 28, this is where I've got Mac Jones, man. I'm not very high on Mac Jones. I think, of course, coming from Alabama, you're going to have the best receivers and O-line. And he's not very mobile, so that's probably why I don't like him that much. Mac Jones, but he's still a good quarterback, to be honest. I don't think he'll ever be a high-end starter. He doesn't have amazing arm strength either. So, he's just not a very fun player, to be honest. I don't think he's better than the other quarterbacks I had before. And then 29, I got Zaven Collins, linebacker from Tulsa. He's another amazing versatile player who can probably be an edge defender in the league also, but I think he'll probably stay at linebacker. But, of course, is probably the best blitzer for the linebacker. Such a big player. And he can also drop into coverage, so he's just like a good all-around player. Then 30, Samuel Cosme. The tackle from Texas, Samuel Cosme, he had an amazing pro day. And just a really long-time starter for Texas. Has all that production there. Just being a good player for a very long time. So I think that's very encouraging to see instead of having like a 1 year production. And Christian Barmore, I have him as the best defensive tackle in the draft. It's not a very strong class, but Barmore is a really good player. He's another very good all-around player, can rush the passer and stop the run at high rates, and had a lot of production, be a good 3-tech probably in the league. And I think he can be a really good starter and has a lot of production. Man, I'd love to see people's thoughts on this. So number 32, I got Rashod Bateman. He's a good receiver. People thought he was bigger. He came in a bit undersized. People thought he was massive, but he's a really good jump ball receiver. He plays bigger than his size he actually is. He's a good red zone target even, but he's a really good receiver, great route runner, so I like him. And then 33, Dylan Radunes, attacker from North Dakota State. North Dakota State, not the best people you're going against in that league, but he at the Senior Bowl was so good, a really good tackle. He had the highest win rate out of all tackles, I think, and just showed really that he can be a good tackle against good players. And I don't think he has to start straight away. I think he definitely can. But I think if he can learn behind a good player, he can be a really good tackle for a very long time. The 34, I got Zizou Ali. He's just got a really good speed off the edge and could fit in a 3-4 or a 4-3. Probably be good in the 4-3. Could be amazing in like a 3-4 outside linebacker type of scheme. But he doesn't really have the ideal length for an edge defender, but he can play a 2-point and 3-point stance. And can play all downs because he can stop the run also. So he's a good player. And Terrace Marshall, receiver from LSU, he's a pretty raw receiver, but he has a very good contested catch also. And he has good speed also as a deep threat. I say and so much, but he has a lot of points. But he definitely needs to learn behind people. Can definitely start straight away, but he'll probably take a while to be an amazing player. And then 36, I got Devonte Williams. I like him. Good all-around running back. Good speed and power at the running back position. So I like Devonte Williams. And then I got Eric Stokes. He was a track star. So he ran like a 4.2 something at the combine, and that will definitely bring up his draft stock. But he was also a very aggressive cornerback at Georgia. That's kind of how they teach their corners. But I like Eric Stokes, so I got him here. And then Pat Freiermuth, I think he's the second best tight end in the draft. Good blocking tight end and a good receiving tight end. So a good player. It kind of drops off from these tight ends, but I think Pat Freiermuth can develop into a good tight end in this league. And then I got Javon Holland here. People kind of forgot about him because he opted out last year. But he was a very versatile player. He played slot corner, played outside corner at some point. He traditionally plays free safety, which I think he will play. But yeah, he can play slot corner, so that's a good trait to have. And he was very good at just all of those places. So it just shows consistency. And if he didn't opt out and played, I think he would have been probably the best safety in the draft. And number 40, I got Tylan Wallace. I really like Tylan Wallace. I'm very high on him. He's an amazing route runner and all-around receiver. Has good speed also. And I think he can fit any scheme and be a really good, probably number 2 receiver. Could develop into number 1, but he could be a really good complement to a lot of receivers. 41, I got Levi, Omar Ziki. This is kind of where the defensive tackle group drops off after Levi Omar Ziki, because I think he's the only really first round maybe player out of the D tackles outside of Christian Barmore. But he's a really good athlete and is a good pass rushing defensive tackle, but also has amazing size, so can stop the run also. So Jabril Cox, the linebacker from LSU, he's a very long linebacker. He's not a massive player. So in the run game, he does get a bit exposed if big tackles and guards or centers just come through, or fullbacks even. If they hit him, they'll probably move him back a bit, which isn't amazing. But he's probably the best coverage linebacker in this draft. Maybe JOK on top of him. But Jabril Cox is a really good linebacker and can cover so well. Literally looks like a cornerback when he's covering tight ends and receivers. And then number 44, I got Jayson Oweh, the edge from Penn State. Jayson Oweh, he's very raw. He didn't have any sacks last season, but he's an amazing athlete, got a lot of pressures, and his Pro Bowl, you wish. See, his pro day was amazing. He's so speedy, and one team will definitely be they'll see the physical traits and take a shot, and that will definitely happen. Oh shit, I gotta skip to one because this is 43 was actually Walker Little. Walker Little, man, he's not played in a very long time. He didn't play last year, he didn't play the year before. I think he played one game the year before last year. But damn, he was so good whenever he played. Whenever he played, nobody getting past him. And he was working with the O-line, kind of guru guy. and he's given him really high praise, like the best tackle I've ever seen. And I think Walker Little can be a really good player, so I like Walker Little. Don't cheat, guys. Okay, 45. Paulson Adebo. I love Paulson Adebo. Not sexually, shut up. But Paulson Adebo, he opted out last year, so again, people kind of just forgot about him because they're like, oh, he opted out. But Paulson Adebo was a really amazing cornerback the years that he was playing and never really got exposed. He's an amazing tackler also, which is very good to see for that cornerback position. But I really like Paulson Adebo as a corner. And then I got Richie Grant, a very versatile safety, can play in the slot and in the box. So one team that just wants that versatile safety will definitely pick him probably pretty early if they want. And he was good at UCF. He didn't really, I mean, it was only really that 1 year of elite production, but that's like a lot of players in this draft, so you're just going to have to take it off of traits and everything. So number 47, I got Rondale Moore, receiver, Purdue. Super raw receiver. Had a very limited route tree, literally just like screens and simple routes, really like comebacks and just stuff that really don't take a lot of effort. I mean, probably would if I did play football, but Rondale Moore, damn man, he definitely has all the physical traits. He's a really good athlete. Amazing run after the catch, because that's what they kind of used him as, is run after catch, break tackles. And I think if he develops his route tree, he can be a very good receiver. 48, Liam Eichenberg. He can play guard. I think he'll probably move to guard because of his arm length. But tackle, definitely, if people need him to play tackle, I think he can start straight away on the offensive line because he's a star. He played a lot at Notre Dame, actually. I can't remember how much years. He might have been a 4-year starter. Probably not 4 years, maybe 3 years. But just a really good top player. And then 49, I got Feti Melafonu. I like Melafonu. They better keep him at corner, not like his brother. They moved him to safety. That didn't work out. He's out of the league. But like his brother, he was an amazing athlete. Has all the traits, really, for a cornerback. Can get a bit, like, lazy at times, which is weird. But, like, he's just such a good cornerback, it doesn't really matter. And I think Melafonu deserves to probably be a second-round pick. And then my last player, Cameron McGrone, the linebacker from Michigan. This is probably a bit of a surprising one, but Cameron McGrone was so good at Michigan. He kind of gets overlooked because of their season and kind of what happened. Even the year before, he was a very good linebacker. And I think he can be a really good starter even in this league. He has good speed, good Mike linebacker, to be honest. He just can play. He did have a bit of a small sample size, but his ceiling is so high. I guess his floor is probably pretty low because of a small sample size. But I think he could definitely be a 3-down starting linebacker in this league. So that was my top 50 players in the draft. My voice feels kind of messed up, so I'm probably just going to end this up. And I hope you enjoyed. I put in a lot of effort, so see ya.